Greetings and welcome. This is the Cell Guru Show with me, Rajiv Makni, and we've got some big products for you. The big review, the Oppo F21 Pro and Oppo F21 5Gs. Two phones aimed at the lifestyle audience, bright colors, beautiful looking phones, fresh take on design, ring light around the cameras, very decent performance also. But can they take on Xiaomi under the 25,000 rupee segment? Then we'll do a camera comparison. OnePlus has spoken a lot about the 10 Pro's camera. We compare the OnePlus 10 with the iPhone 13 and the Samsung S22s. This is an epic shootout. Let's find out which phone clicks the better pictures. We'll end it all with the Realme Buds Air 3. There's this trend to launch TWS earbuds along with phones. That's what Realme has also done. These fit well, good sound, good price, 3,999. Our top story or stories today are the Oppo F21 Pro and the Oppo F21 5G. Now, Oppo does something very interesting with the F series mid-rangers that they bring to the market, and they bring in a lot of innovation. Like, for instance, innovative fiberglass has been used as material, leather kind of a look they've given, RGB ring light that has come around the camera, 6.4-inch Full HD Plus display. F21 Pro has a 90Hz AMOLED panel. F21 Pro 5G has 60Hz. Performance feels similar on both, not much of a difference in terms of performance, but you're not going to buy these phones for the performance, because at the end of it, you're buying them for great style and great camera stuff. So let's take a look at what these two phones have to offer.
Oppo is setting its sight on the mid-range once again. This time it is bringing a 1-2 punch with the F21 Pro 5G and the F21 Pro. Similar performance but different approaches towards imaging and some very interesting design choices. The two phones are aimed at a lifestyle audience. Can they succeed at fending off tough competition from the likes of Xiaomi? Let's find out in the Cell Guru review. The Oppo F21 Pro 5G and F21 Pro bring design front and center, and boy are the two phones a looker. The back is finished in clean lines and has a sparkling look to it that gleams under direct sunlight. The phone sits great in the hand and stays clear of fingerprints and scuffs, which is a definite positive. On the flip side, the camera module sits proud of the body, and we observed that it caught onto a pocket while sliding the phone in. The orange variant of the F21 Pro gets an innovative fiberglass if you are looking for something a bit different than usual to carry around. Another unique feature is the addition of the RGB ring light around the camera, which can show notifications and charging process. It is a nifty addition that lets you keep track of what's happening on your phone even when flipped down. The buttons too are built to high tolerance levels, and there's a certain premiumness that is very evident the moment you pick up the device. Meanwhile, the 6.4-inch Full HD Plus display on the front has ever so slightly curved edges to make it more comfortable in the hand. The F21 Pro gets a 90Hz AMOLED panel, whereas the F21 Pro 5G makes do with the standard 60Hz screen. The screen is vibrant with slightly oversaturated colors that make media and games pop. While gamers might seek bells and whistles like a higher touch sampling rate or faster refresh rate, we found the HDR-capable panel to be perfectly adequate for watching multimedia content. The F21 Pro pushes things up a notch with a higher brightness level as well. Other features include an IPX4 rating for splash resistance. Meanwhile, both the F21 Pro 5G and the F21 Pro come with in-display fingerprint reader. Both are more than fast enough, and we had no issues with usability. On the performance side, the Oppo F21 Pro and F21 Pro 5G are on the side of mid-range engineering. You will find the option of Snapdragon 680 or Snapdragon 695 between the two phones. Both phones come with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Additionally, you even get a micro SD card slot for storage expansion. We found real-world use to be largely similar thanks to the optimizations done by Oppo. Running ColorOS 12 on Android 12, the phone shows off slick animations and has no trouble handling a lot of apps. Gaming too is plenty good. Though if you want an all-out thrill-seeking machine, you might want to consider the other options. The two phones are also largely similar on the imaging front. Oppo is known for excellent cameras, and the 64-megapixel shooter here is no different. The phone displays fantastic dynamic range and easily brings out ample detail even in the shadow region. Night mode is also plenty effective at turning night to day, though we saw some noise when pixel peeping. There are differences in the secondary cameras though, where the F21 Pro has a microscope camera letting you get incredibly close to your subject. The F21 Pro 5G makes do with a standard macro lens. The low resolution, however, lets down both cameras. You will also find a depth sensor. The front cameras too show some differences. The 32 megapixel sensor on the F21 Pro pulls ahead with more details, realistic skin tones and better colors all around. Keeping the phone running all day long are 4500 mAh batteries on both phones. We clocked about 6 to 7 hours of screen on time. Charging speeds are also adequately fast at 33 watt, taking around an hour for a full charge. Priced at 26,999 rupees for the F21 Pro 5G and 22,999 rupees for the F21 Pro, the two phones are interesting choices for those who want a lifestyle accessory to match their fashionable life. Sure, you can get better performance elsewhere, but the nifty additions and sleek design make them worth a consideration.
And now let's do the story I've been wanting to bring to you for the last 2 weeks, the big camera comparison. OnePlus 10 Pro versus the iPhone 13 versus the Samsung S22 Plus. Now, Rubina and Gaurang both have taken on the quest to find out which is the best camera phone at around 60,000-70,000 rupees. This is epic. Both of you, take it away.
Hi, I'm Rubina Mongia.
And I'm Gaurang Garoda.
Now today we have a very interesting video for you. If you have about 60 to 75,000 of rupees and you want to buy a camera phone, we have three big phones: the iPhone 13, the Samsung S22 and the OnePlus 10 Pro. So Gaurang, what's the criteria when we'll decide and how we'll decide which is the best camera phone?
So a good camera phone is decided by a few factors: the dynamic range, the sharpness, the colors, and just the overall processing that it does after the picture has been clicked.
Let's start with a standard photo, a photo that you will click right after you take out your phone.
Yes, let's go ahead with that.
So as you can see, we have all the three phones. We have opened the same shot that we have clipped on all three phones.
And now we can see all the colors and how different they are on each of these shots.
Absolutely.
We can see the sky to determine the dynamic range along with all the details in the shadows and the darker parts.
So I have to start, Gaurang, by saying that, the color, the thing that we saw yesterday, the exact colors at the time of the day are perfect in the iPhone 13.
I do agree, because even though we're just talking about one shot, if we shift to right of the next shot, colors might be different on the other two phones, but the iPhone maintains that consistency throughout.
Correct. I like the fact that you don't have to edit pictures for Samsung, because they're just bright colors. They look beautiful for a social media account. I have to say that, Samsung clicks the perfect pictures when it comes to colors, but they're not the real colors that you see from your naked eyes.
I completely agree. And that's where I would give a little bit of an appreciation to OnePlus, where they, even though the picture might look a little bit less punchy when you compare it to Samsung, the fact is that the colors are very much accurate for the most part, even though it's a little bit lagging when it comes to comparing it with the shots clicked by the iPhone.
But if you zoom in the pictures, where do you see the most details?
I see the most detail in the staircase, in all the edges of the stone wall that we have.
And the better one comes on Samsung.
Yeah.
Samsung S22 wins in the details when you zoom in.
But then we also have to remember that the fact that both of these, the OnePlus is a 48 megapixel sensor while Samsung goes for a 50 megapixel sensor, and in both cases I'd say details are fine, but yes, I would trust and I would prefer the details that Samsung puts out rather than OnePlus.
Okay, now let's talk about my favorite mode, and that's portrait mode.
To be really honest, we can't really find the same shot on all phones, because all of these three phones click the portrait mode shot in different focal lengths. Samsung goes up straight onto the person, it zooms in the most. OnePlus maintains middle ground. An iPhone, since it does not have a dedicated telephoto lens, it just clicks it from the standard wide lens.
Though I like my picture on the iPhone the most, the iPhone 13. I think it's done a really good job, because that's exactly how I look like. And maybe not so much on Samsung, because it's giving me this blue tint.
Yeah, there's a warmer tint on it, I'd say.
Yeah.
So here
Even on OnePlus, I think OnePlus has done a good enough job.
Yes. But the fact is that if you see the edges, I think those are much better detected on the Samsung. But at the same time, Samsung looks much more like a digitally clicked portrait shot rather than an actual depth of field portrait shot.
And if you see my hairline, you will see the exact. I think OnePlus has also done a very good job with their hairline portrait.
And the fact is that OnePlus has, rather than going for something that Samsung does, it has gone for something that the iPhone does, where the depth of field feels much more natural. Now we'll move to the ultra wide mode, where the field of view increases and you're able to see much more while standing at the same particular place.
I really like this mode though, because you can capture a lot just in one frame. Again, we have to say that I really like what Samsung has clicked, because the colors pop out, the greens pop out, the sky blue pops out.
But again, like, fair points to like OnePlus here. The 50 megapixel ultra wide does a great job with sharpness. It does a great job with colors, then basically maintaining the natural look of those colors, and just the dynamic range is pretty excellent on the OnePlus.
So does iPhone 13. I think the colors remain how they should be, except that I don't like the blacks are too black.
Yeah, the dynamic range is suffering here, which is something of a known fact for iPhones, especially with the iPhone 13 series, where dynamic range is not the best. Like, sometimes the results might not be as consistent as you have come to expect from an iPhone. And now we move on to something of, a standard wide shot only, but here we have a lot of the sky prevalently in the shot.
And you'll notice that out of 3 phones, iPhone has the most white sky and the Samsung has the most blue sky.
Yes. Again, kudos to Samsung for their post-processing and just, just how much they have mastered dynamic range, because again, we see OnePlus forming the middle ground here, where it's also not white, but it's also not the bluish thing that we actually saw there. And in terms of details, and just the overall, management of the dynamic range, OnePlus has brightened the parts which are supposed to be a little bit dim realistically, while Samsung has maintained the same tone throughout.
But I really like that iPhone 13 has maintained the details. So like if you zoom in on all cameras.
Yeah. Even though the megapixel count is lower on this one, the sharpness
on the
is
iPhone
well
13,
maintained.
the details are intact.
Yeah. And the same thing, I'd say the details are very well maintained, but I do think that Samsung does suffer a little bit with the details for some reason, even though it has a much bigger megapixel count than the iPhone.
Now let's get to the selfie mode. I mean, it's really important to have a good selfie camera now.
Yeah, it does seem like it.
So I think I look the prettiest in the Samsung S22. What do you say?
I'd say the colors look much better and much warmer as they are right now in the iPhone and the OnePlus. Even if you are pretty there, you're more real here.
I agree. Though I like myself on Samsung more, the iPhone 13 is more real, and I think even the 10 Pro has clicked like a very decent selfie.
And kudos to OnePlus here, they have come a long way in their selfie game, because they were not good at all with the 9 Pro, and 10 Pro is much better with the selfies because it maintains the details while also doing well with the colors. I would give the biggest piece of the pie to iPhone. The best selfie on all of these 3 phones is with the iPhone.
And now let's move to our last shot, which is of course the most challenging shot, the low light shot.
Okay, and so with the night mode, iPhone again goes for the real shot, which is the most accurate shot. Samsung does blowout and it makes it look like a different time of the day.
Of course.
And again, OnePlus forming the middle ground like all the cases. It does go for the accuracy, but at the same time, the details, the sharpness is intact as long as you don't zoom into the shot. And the colors are very accurate, and the night shot or the low light shot looks like the low light shot.
Yes, but it's very important for the low light shot to have very less noise, and I think all 3 phones have done a brilliant job at it. All 3 phones have very less noise. Yes, you're right. OnePlus has very good details and it's very well lit shot.
Even though there was no light.
So I agree with you here. iPhone has literally no light on the shot.
iPhone has not done well at all with this. I don't know if it's just to maintain the realisticness of the shot, but I don't think iPhone has done good at all, and it can be accurate, but if I can't see anything in the shot, it defeats the whole purpose of the night mode.
So you're saying that in terms of low light, OnePlus and Samsung are better than iPhone?
Definitely, because colors, details, and just the overall reproduction of the entire shot, much better with Samsung and OnePlus. Apple is has to drive up the game in this.
So that was a comparison. We have covered almost all kind of scenarios which we will use while clicking from our phone. So what's our verdict, Gaurang?
So if you want the most consistent colors throughout all the pictures that you click, iPhone 13 should be your choice.
And if you want photos that you don't have to go back to an app to edit, post-edit those photos and just directly post on Instagram or any social media apps, then I think Samsung S22 has to be your choice.
And if you want to experiment with your pictures, experiment with the colors, the focal length, just click detailed shots which have very malleable colors, OnePlus 10 Pro should be your choice.
So this was a photo comparison. Next week we will do a video comparison of all these three phones to help you make your choice.
Let's take a quick break right now and we come back. Lots more on the Cell Guru Show. Let's move on now to the Realme Buds Air 3, new TWS earbuds, pebble-shaped case, nice design, plastic construction, fits well in the ear, IPX5 rated, and the base drivers are 10mm, delivers good noise cancellation. I won't say great, but not bad either. 30 hours of playtime with the case, and it supports dual device connectivity, which I think now is important. And the price, $3,999.
From oversized headphones to neckbands and finally true wireless earphones, noise cancellation is now within the reach of even those users who want great features but on a budget. The Realme Buds Air 3, the latest from the Shenzhen-based company, are an innovative addition to a category that is quickly becoming rather crowded. Can the claims of extended noise cancellation help it deafen the noise of the competition, or will it struggle to make some noise of its own? We find out in the Cell Guru review. The design of the Realme Buds Air 3 is typically Realme. You will find a mix of chromed out elements and white plastics all around. Perhaps the most interesting element here is the case. Realme has opted for a pebble-shaped design, and right at the top is a rubberized element with Realme branding in it. We are pretty neutral on the design choice, but it is certainly unique. Flipping open the top reveals the pair of true wireless earphones that can be paired using a discrete button over on the right side of the case. The earphones are constructed entirely of plastic, but the choice of colors won't give that away. To start off, the stem is finished in a polished chrome look that is quite visually appealing if you like a bit of bling. Shipping with a range of silicone ear tips, the Realme Buds Air 3 fit well in the ear and don't fall off even while working out. The IPX5 rating comes in clutch to facilitate that and guarantees resistance against splashes and dust. Of course, the true differentiating factor is the sound quality. Realme claims that the 10mm bass drivers in the Buds Air 3 deliver oodles of bass. And that's pretty true in our experience. These earphones will be a hip-hop head's delight. Those looking for a neutral sound signature should, however, stay far away. You can, however, tweak the sound profile a bit to suit your preference thanks to the included app. The Realme Buds 3 also deliver very good noise cancellation. While the earphones won't entirely envelop you in silence, they do a good job at cutting out ambience disturbance. Think traffic or the sound of a noisy fan. The noise cancellation also helps amplify the effect of the bass-heavy drivers. Realme claims 30 hours of playback combined with the case. The earphones themselves will, however, get you a 5.5 hours of listening time, and if you are on the run, just charge them up for 10 minutes and you've got an instant 100 minutes of listening time available. We found the claim to be on point. The Realme Buds Air 3 supports dual device connectivity, making it easy to pair them up with your phone or tablet and seamlessly switch between them. Priced at 3,999 rupees, the Realme Buds Air 3 is a competent proposition. They aren't really breaking new ground in the true wireless space, and alternatives offer much of the same features. However, if you're already invested in the Realme ecosystem, these ones might be right up your alley.
That then was the Cell Guru Show for this week. Lots coming up next week.